holding at the very bottom of the Reish Lamed Ches, second column, bottom of that paragraph. See, he explained to Maharal that when he says you should come live imanu b'mekomenu. What's the imanu? So he explained that we're the ikar and you're the tofil. That's what he meant. We're primary, you're secondary. We see you're a special person. We need you. But why do we need you? We need you for us. Therefore, you're there for us to draw from you. Not to do kiruv. Meaning, that's what we responded. When you don't recognize my value, that I'm the tofil, I'm secondary, you're the ikar. When a person is experiencing and internalizing the value of Torah, then you have that sense of nothing is comparable to what you have, because you experiencing in that moment. So because of the experience of love that he was totally entwined in the Torah, that's why he responded to that. You know, for a person to value money, he doesn't have to be involved in it at this moment, because that's natural. The only way a person truly is able to sense its true value, you have to be engaged in it. If you don't engage Torah, you don't have that feeling about it. Something outside of you.
Meaning because he was able to deny the physical offer.
Regardless of what, he had the clarity and had everything. Whatever you offer me in the world, it's meaningless. He only had that sense of what Torah was because he was so involved in it at that moment. He says, when a person leaves this world, the only thing that accompanies you is not the silver, not the gold, only Torah Masim Tovim. Even in the physical world, you think you have bracha, you can have all the money in the world. No? It's like I always say over Rav Shach we used to say. He says that let Alan say it over. Alan's shaking his head. He said the richest man, he's a billionaire. He was speaking numbers. Yeah. As he has. And he says Pshat and Rambam that he worked on, that he agonized over for days. Yeah, exactly. As he says, but he said, because he's zochel chol habrochos, Yosef min hakesef. And in addition, so you have a benefit in this world and benefit in the world to come. Material wealth only has relevance to this world. He said Torah u'masim tovim. That's what he said to this person. So what is Torah masim tovim? Avok masim tovim man de karshmeik. O masim tovim de kushta de milsahu. Shigmoshem lavnu so Torah kachem lavnu so masim tovim. The two things that are coming to us: the Torah and the good deeds we do. Good deeds doesn't have to be mitzvahs; could be Torah. Masim tovim means acts of chesed, whatever you do. V'oda Torah b'lo masim lav klumi. Interesting. This he says this somewhere else. Why is Torah called Torah? Torah tzivah lanu Moshe. Meaning it's luminav nas lasos. If the Torah doesn't manifest itself in action, Torah has no value. You know? I'm not a practicing Jew, but I study. So I'm saying, so that's Torah u'masim tovim. The Torah has to manifest itself in good deeds. No, no, everybody agrees. Everybody agrees. It has no value. Nobody argues that. Person studies, doesn't perform, it has no value. It's explicit. It's luminav nas lasos. The learning has to be with the objective to perform, to actualize what you study. Over there, what's ikar? Talmud Iker, meaning that's what brings you to bring at to certain levels. Here's the question: what brings you? What advances a person? Is it the action or is it study? But of course, the intent has to be to actualize it.
Don't go say in Pirkei Avot says that if you don't actualize it, the Torah will not be sustained as well.
Doesn't say that in Pirkei Avot. Doesn't say if you want it, you study. Almas lasos Hashem will assist you to lasos. If you want to disseminate it, also, whatever you invest in it, that's the way it's going to manifest itself. He's phenomenal here. The reason why the Torah accompanies him is because there's masim tovim. Hear what he's saying? Let's say you'd have Torah without masim tovim. That Torah is not going to accompany you. What's malavinos Torah masim tovim? Because of the masim tovim, therefore the Torah now has that value. Therefore the Torah will accompany the person. You understand what he's saying? Without the masim tovim, that Torah is not accompanying you. Because the Torah didn't have the value. Because unless it's lahoros, it gives you the direction, it has no value. That's the famous Ran Nedorim. Al shel birchu b'Torah tchila, right? Al osmas Torosi, famous Ran in Nedorim, right? Why did the Churban come about? So we say Al shel ozu Torosi. They asked everybody. Because they didn't say the brachos, and Ran explains over there. They studied day and night, but the emphasis was not the kima mitzvahs. So what I said was, because seemingly it's a contradiction. The Gemara says in Yuma, why was the first Beis Mikdash destroyed? The three cardinal sins. And the Gemara in the Devarim says, so it cites the pasuk from Echo, Alos mas Torosi, because they abandoned my Torah. Right? So it's not because of the three cardinal sins. Now, when the Gemara says in a number of places, Barasi Yitzhahara, Barasi Lo Torah Tavlin. What's Torah is the Tavlin? What's Torah? But they study day and night. How did they come to Avodah Zogil Rashir Hasdomim? The answer is no, not Lishmo. Because it wasn't for the sake of doing. Torah only has that value. Torah is the antidote. But what's Torah? Amnas Lasos. It's not Amnas Lasos, that's not Torah. It's called intellectualism. Therefore, when is the Torah malavid the person? If there's masim tovim. If there's masim tovim, then the Torah escorts you, because then the Torah is Torah. Okay? Howard, you got a year?
That's, you have to have intent to apply it when you can. Even if you don't apply it, you still get slapped for it.
If that was your initial intent. Look, we're
If you learn about carbonos, you still, if you never bring a carbon in your life, you still get slapped for learning.
No,
Because your intent is
because if we'd have carbonos, we would. Right?
even if you're not applying it.
The assumption is that you will have carbonos. What about that ceremony where you said that you could
The
never
Chofetz
have
Chaim
it?
writes, it's called Ovid Parshas Tomid, Ol Chatos, it's as if you brought the carbon. He cites from Rishonim, the Chofetz Chaim, that that's only, firstly, you have to understand what you're saying, just not saying words. You have to understand all the intricacies of the avoda. It's as if you brought the carbon. It's called Parshas Chatos, Kilikr Chatos. You're right? Person's obligated to bring a Chatos. You see, the Parsha, it's valid like you brought the Chatos. He says you have to know all the intricacies. Person just knows the type of animal. He has no idea what the ritual is. Doesn't have that value. But he says, even then, a person, when he says it, has to have in mind that he's yearning for the moment when actually the Beis Hamikdash will be built. And if you don't have that, it doesn't have the effect as if you brought the carbon. Meaning the only reason why you haven't been able to bring the carbon is because you don't have a Beis Hamikdash. But you're yearning that it should be there, that you could actually bring it. So again, it has to do with the mindset. Then it takes on that special value.
But I'm never going to be a Kohen.
No, not you. It doesn't make a difference. But that's what the Torah. It's based on a pasuk. Based on a pasuk. Nisham b'parm svasenu. Hashem says, I value your lips as if you bring the oxen. So that's where it's learned from. When you say the parsha, it's as if. But so that's even the non-Kohen. Even the non-Kohen. That's what the pasuk reveals. But what has to be the mindset? Firstly, you have to know the facts, what you're saying. And additionally, he says you should the only reason why you're not able to bring is because you don't have the Beis Hamikdash, and you're yearning that it should be built. No, that was the eye opener. That revealed the reality of it. So that tells us what's the intent of the person. If it's Torah Hashem, that means it's to behave a certain way. Yeah, but usually a person who has masim tov, that means you want to do the right thing. So if you want to do the right thing, you say a bracha, right? You say a bracha if you want to do the right thing.
And for Lo Saseh, if someone learns something and then they do that exact thing that they learned, that as if they didn't.
What's it they learned? They said it's irrelevant. This Lo Saseh has no relevance to my life. No, sin after. That's okay. You have a Yitzhara, you sin. That doesn't minimize the Torah that originally you learned. He says, I will only live in a community where there's Torah and Masim Tovim. He says, I will only live in a community that there's Torah. He should have said Torah Masim Tovim, right? He says, the only thing comes to the person is Torah Masim Tovim, he says. And therefore, I will only live in the community where there's Torah. What do you mean with Torah? He should say where there's Torah Masim Tovim.
No, because of this Torah, he's Masim Tovim that he's going to bring.
No, he's talking about what is that community? Ki Masim Tovim ein mokum gorim v'yochel lasos b'chol mokum v'shudor. Because it's not. Ki Masim Tovim ein mokum gorim v'yochel lasos b'chol mokum v'shudor. I will only live in a location where it's Torah Masim Tovim. He says, Masim Tovim is not dependent on what? On where you live. But learning, it depends where you are. Right? Certain communities, you can put on tefillin and go to shul every day. Torah is a different story. That you need the environment to be conducive for Torah study. Right? He says, his community were, what did he say? He had Sofrim and Mir Gedol Shel Chacham Shel Shofrimoni. That's what he originally said. Okay, let's continue. Let's do
We
that.
had it in Hebrew where there's some focus with Ben Soromor would actually happen or not, but we come out that if it didn't happen, the point is that
You study it.
right. So how does that connect?
No, that's the lesson. No, that's the lesson. That's the lesson. It's the lesson. You have to learn the lesson to Ben Soromor. We once spoke about it.
That also can manifest in action, you're saying.
Well, if you learn the lesson, then you gain from it.
The sofer that he's talking about is the type of person, not the sofer that's writing, but the type of custom. So that's like Goran and so forth.
Gemara says in Kedushin, why we call Sofim? Because they counted the letters of the Torah. Sofim also teachers are also Sofrim. Rabbanans are called Divrei Sofrim.